He was a chubby guy who only worked night shifts, driving different beautiful women to and from work every day. The places he frequented were full of neon lights and nightlife, and he even had to deliver flour for the boss and collect payments. But today, he committed a major offense. He impulsively punched a playboy who didn't follow the rules. Because he had fallen in love with the girl he had been driving for long term, his uncle reassigned him to another position. But what happened next became even more absurd. The mafia boss, who was already in the late stages of cancer and had only a short time left, suddenly called him to the bedside while drafting his last will, telling him out of nowhere to hurry to the countryside and keep a low profile. Vienna was about to fall into chaos, and he must never go to Berlin. Joseph was stunned. He asked one last question, the rumor everyone had been whispering about. The dying boss gently nodded but said nothing. Instead, he tightly held Joseph's hand. It turned out Joseph was the mafia boss's illegitimate son. My God, what kind of fate awaited him now? At this moment, Joseph's uncle needed one last signature to take over the business, but the boss, even on the verge of death, still couldn't let go of one final big deal. They had been searching for a gold coin minted during the reign of Catherine the Great, valued at 3 million euros. It originally belonged to the Berlin Museum, but two reckless punks had somehow stolen it. Now someone had learned where the coin ended up and even created a flawless plan to steal it again, intending to sell it to the Vienna boss at market price. Then the boss would use his own connections to resell it to the Russians at an astronomical markup. If this wish were not fulfilled, the boss would die with regret. So Joseph's uncle used the woman Joseph loved as leverage, forcing him and another guy to go to Berlin, pay the deposit, and assist in completing the mission. But things were far more complicated than expected, because within the Berlin heist crew, the key figure was an outside genius locksmith. His name was Charlie. He had once served time for breaking into doors and safes, but he had turned over a new leaf and now had a happy family. Yet the heist crew sought him out again, because no one else in the world could open the safe containing the gold coin. But they didn't tell him the truth. They claimed the safe was hiding a drug dealer's $2 million in dirty money and offered him $400,000 in cash for the job. But Charlie had washed his hands clean long ago. There was no way he would risk doing something so stupid again. However, just last night, the heist group came straight to his home. They threatened his wife and child to force him to comply. With no choice, Charlie reluctantly showed up to the meeting, but he had conditions. Not for money, just a promise. First, no guns allowed and no violence. Second, afterward, they must never disturb him or his family again. Soon, the group reached an agreement, and driver Joseph met locksmith Charlie for the first time. Their meticulous plan went like this. The safe was kept in the basement of a nail salon, guarded 24/7 by 2 armed security officers. It looked nearly impossible, but after studying the building's blueprints, they discovered something shocking. Several buildings used to share one connected basement, only later separated by partition walls. The supermarket next door usually closed at 10 p.m., and as it turned out, its alarm system was just for show. That would be the entry point for their operation.